My name is Trisha Morris, and I would like to welcome you to my channel, Mathematics Simplex, where you will be able to view videos you might find difficult in your class. Please.
Now, let us look at difference of 2 squared. So factorizing when we have difference of 2 squared. The general formula is a squared minus b squared is equal to a minus b and a plus b. So if we have x squared minus 4, it is the same thing as x squared. And to get the b square, the 4 is a perfect square. So a perfect square means that I can square the number 2 and I will arrive at 4. So it means a is x and b is 2. So it means factorizing this, I'll have x minus 2 and x plus 2. If I have y squared minus 100, 100 is a perfect square, so I'll rewrite this as y squared minus 10 squared. So my a is y and my b is 10. So factorizing this, we'll have y minus 10 and y plus 10. Now we could have 9a squared minus 16. First thing we're going to do is ensure that all of these is rewritten as a perfect square. So 9 is the same thing as 3 squared, and 16 is the same thing as 4 squared. So rewriting this as difference of 2 squared, we will have 3a minus 4 and 3a plus 4. So if we have 4m squared minus 25, rewriting the numbers as a perfect square, I'll have 4 as 2 squared and 25 as 5 squared. So rewriting this, we will have 2m minus 5 and 2m plus 5. Now we can also have factorizing quadratic expressions. For example, x squared plus 4x plus 3. What we'll be doing, we'll be looking for two numbers that multiply to give me positive 3 and add to give me the center, which is 4. So these two numbers, we call them factors. So the factors of the two numbers will be 1 and 3, because 1 times 3 will give me 3, and 1 plus 3 gives me 4. Now, when you have the factors, you will be replacing the center with the factors. So rewriting this expression, I have x squared, and rewriting the center, I now have 1x, which is the same thing as x, plus 3x plus 3. Now grouping these, so I have my two brackets. You should now be seeing the similarity of the previous exercise that we were doing, where we look for what's common in the first bracket, and you should be seeing that x is common. And if x is common, I divide the first and the second term by x. So we know that x into x squared leaves an x. And these two x cancel, so all I'm left with is a plus 1. Looking at the next bracket, we should be seeing that 3 is common, positive 3. So I have my positive 3. Then writing my bracket, dividing each term, which is the third and the fourth, by 3. 3 into 3 goes 1 times. So this will be 1x or x. And 3 into 3 goes 1 time. So we have x plus 3 and x plus 1. So here we have another example where we need two numbers that multiply to give us negative 12 and add to give us positive 4. So looking at this, we have to find the factors. So two numbers that multiply to give you negative 12 and add to give you positive 4. Now what you can do, you can list the combinations that gives you 12. 2 times 6, 12 times 1, and we have 3 times 4. So 6 times 2 gives us 12, 1 times 12 gives you 12, and 3 times 4 gives us 12. Now, all of these multiply to give you 12. Now we have to look at which combination add to give us 6. Looking at this, none of them will add to give us 6. It must be some subtraction. It can't be 12 because that's 11, and this will be some 1 or negative 1. So it has to be 6 and 2. The only thing is that we need to play with the sign. Now we want to multiply to give us negative 12, and we want it to add to give us positive 4. So we have a negative sign on 6 and positive 2. Then we can have positive 6 and a negative 2. Now, which one of these combination will add to give us positive 4? Because negative 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times negative 2, that's negative 12. So both of these combination multiply to give you negative 12, but only one of them add to give you positive 4. So looking at it, it has to be the second combination because 6 minus 2, or you can say 6 plus negative 2, will give us positive 4. So the factors are 6 and negative 2. So doing this, we are going to substitute the center with the factors that we have here. So we have x squared plus 6x minus 2x minus 12. Now grouping, again, we look at the first bracket. What can I factor out? You should be seeing x. And if it is x, then we can go ahead and divide each term, which is the first and the second term, by the variable x. So x into x squared gives me an x. These two cancel, so I'm left with plus 6. So if you look at the next brackets, we have minus 2x and minus 12. Now remember we did the activity where if we're seeing both terms having a negative sign, we can go ahead and factor out the negative sign. But not also factor out the negative, we look at the numbers 2 and 12. What can go into both 2 and 12 without leaving a remainder? It should be the number 2. To find out what is left, we divide the third and the fourth term by negative 2. So these cancel, so I'm left with x. Then negative 2 into negative 12, that gives us positive 6. Again, the brackets are the same. So this is x, take away 2, and the next one is x plus 6. So the x minus 2, then write the bracket 1, which is x plus 6. Just remember that we can switch the order. So if you look at this, we have 3x squared plus 5x minus 2. Now, once you have a number greater than 1 in front of the x squared, we have to multiply the 3 times negative 2. So 3 times negative 2, we arrive at negative 6. So we need two numbers that multiply to give us negative 6 and add to give us positive 5. So again, we need the factors. So you can look at the combination that gives you 6. 6 times 1, 2 times 3. And looking at this, 2 plus 3 will give you 5. And 6 take away 1 can give you 5. So let us play with the signs. We can have negative 6 and 1. We can have positive 6 and negative 1. We can have 2 and negative 3, negative 2, and 3. So looking at this, we have negative 6 times 1, that gives a negative 6. 6 times negative 1, negative 6. 2 times negative 3, that's negative 6. And negative 2 times 3, negative 6. So all combination will give us negative 6. But which one will add to give you positive 5? Negative 6 plus 1, that's negative 5. 2 plus negative 3, that's negative 1. And negative 2 plus 3, that's 1. So it must be the 6 and negative 1. So 6 and negative 1 are the factors. So we see 6 times negative 1 gives you negative 6. And 6 plus negative 1 gives you positive 5. So replacing the center, so we have 3x squared plus 6x minus 1x minus 2. So grouping the first two terms in a bracket, then the second two terms in a bracket, we have what can we factor out in the first bracket? We realize 3 and 6 has the highest common factor of 3, and x squared and x has the highest common factor of x. So factoring out, we can divide first by 3. So each of these terms by 3. So this cancels, so I'm left with 1. And 3 into 6 goes 2 times. Then factoring out x, it means I can divide by x within the bracket. X into x squared gives us x, and x into x goes 1 time. For the next side, if you realize it's just a negative sign, that's common. Now what you can do, you can rewrite this negative 2 as negative 1 times 2. So here you can clearly see that I can factor out negative 1, and I'm left with x plus 2. Again, if you're not seeing it, when we factor out the negative 1, we divide the third and the fourth term by negative 1. Negative into negative give you a positive, so that's I have a positive x. And negative into this negative give you a positive, so that's I have a plus 2. So what I have is 3x, open bracket, x plus 2 minus 1, x plus 2. So this is 3x minus 1 and x plus 2. So looking at this, we have 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. So we say we need two numbers that multiply to give us 2 times negative 3 that is minus 6. So we need two numbers that multiply to give you negative 6 and add to give us negative 5. So we're going to find the factors. So thinking about the factors, I want you to figure this one out by listing out the combinations that give us negative 6 and then look at which two gives you negative 5 when you add them. So pause the video and please try this. Once you try it, you should have done where you know negative 1 times 6 and 1 times negative 6. Looking at this, the only two combination that adds to give us negative 5 is the second, which is 1 and negative 6. So what I'm going to do is substitute the center. So we have 2x squared plus 1x minus 6x minus 3. So grouping, what can we factor out of the first bracket? You should realize that the only thing that I can factor out is the x, and it means x into x squared. These two cancel, so I'm left with just 2x. And divide 1x by x. These cancel, so I'm left with a plus 1. Again, remember, once you have two signs being the same, in this case it's negative, we factor out the negative, and the highest common factor for 6 and 3 is 3. So it means we're going to divide the third and the fourth term by negative 3. Dividing negative 3 into negative 6, I'm left with 2, and I write back the x. Then this part, the negative 3 into the negative 3 gives us positive 1. So we are going to write plus 1. So what we have here, x minus 3 and 2x plus 1.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel.